Jerry Glanville running it up on the Broncos and Raiders. The Raiders have just defeated the Denver Broncos 14-9. Archell undefeated in the Coliseum. Steelers and the Browns, defensive struggle. Cleveland's defense has put them on top by 10, 13-3 in the fourth quarter. Dolphins and Patriots, Miami has battled back to 10, and they've won that. They've beaten the New England Patriots in Foxborough, where they rarely win, 27-24. Colts and the Bills, Jeff George doesn't look too bad. But the Bills beat the Colts 26-10, their first win of the year, including the preseason. Jets and Bengals. The Bengals have fought from behind at Riverfront to grab a 25-20 lead over the Jets very late. Chargers and Cowboys. This is Nip and Tucker. The Cowboys have taken the lead over the Lightning Bolts, 17-14 in the fourth quarter. We will update all those scores for you as primetime moves along. Let's get back early in the afternoon, where a division that's on the rise, the NFC Central, showcase two of their teams on the rise, the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Bucs have been coming, but not that many people realize it. The Detroit Lions won their last 5 regular season games. Last year, 4-0 in the preseason. This year, all told, they had won 9 in a row. So, they were in a good mood as they opened up at the Pontiac Silverdome against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lions, knowing they were undefeated in preseason, 7 of the 11 teams undefeated in preseason in the 80s, made it to the playoffs. But Vinny Testaverde says, so what? His tight end can catch the ball. It's Ron Hall, 54-yard touchdown, 7-0 Buccaneers. Rodney Peete at the controls of Mouse Davis's and Wayne Font's run and shoot. And the guy that he went to more often than not, Robert Clark. Once, twice, 3 times. And then Pete to Clark makes the move on number 31. Rodney Rice, touchdown. We are tied at 7. Clark is psyched. Andre Ware says, I can't wait till I'm at the controls, but right now we look okay. Later in the first quarter, 2nd and goal. Pete, the option to Barry Sanders. This is the run part of the shoot. It's only a yard of Sanders' 79, but Detroit had a 14-7 lead over Ray Perkins and company. But in the second quarter, Tampa, 2nd and goal. Vinny to Bruce Perkins. You know Ray likes to keep him on the squad. Is it a touchdown? Let's take a look, Tom.
Well, Perkins takes the toss here. All he has to do is get the ball to cross the plane. We can all make the call ourselves. The only one that counts is the referee. It's a touchdown.
It's called a touchdown. Wayne Font says, I don't appreciate it, but we're tied at 14. Font was aggravated by this man, Gary Anderson. Now, with a little guy like Anderson, you figure he's not going to get a bulk of the carries. We know he can run outside. He also can do some running inside. And he also can take the pass from Vinny. We've known that all along. He had 6 catches on the day, 21-14 Tampa Bay at the half. That was a 19-yard touchdown. Anderson rushing at 74 yards, receiving at 79 yards. There's Vinny's number, 4 TDs and INTs. That's always good to see for Vinny. Key moment of the game. Rodney Peete watches right foot. Yeah, he's out. First, the referee signaled a touchdown on a tough run, but clearly, after further review, he was out. And so, what happens a play later? Problem with the snap. Not only don't they get the touchdown, they fed. Tampa Bay recovers, and Detroit never did recover. And the final score, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into the Silverdome and shock the Lions by the count of 28-14. Now, you can look at this 2 ways, I guess, guys, for the Buccaneers. They have been down for so long that, of course, they're going to have a lot of good players who are number 1 and number 2 and number 3 draft picks. But really, Tommy, if you add it up, and I'm including Reggie Cobb here, who doesn't start, but if you look at number 1, number 2, number 3 picks, Tampa has 6 guys that contribute on offense, 6 guys that contribute on defense. They may have deep linebacking core, deeper than most teams in football. They may be a real surprise this year.
Well, their personnel certainly is surprising. When you look on the other side of the football with the Lions, I think even though Pete has spent a year with this offense and now goes into his 2nd season, he won't be nearly as adept at running that offense as Andre Ware will. He knows that offense over a period of 2 or 3 years. He knows the terminology, and I would look for him maybe to be in as early as next week.
Certainly in the point department, they got sloppy. And they gave up more rushing yards than they did in that winning streak in late November and December. That's what happened to the Lions today. We'll be back to check out a big one between the Vikings and the Chiefs. Move on. We'd like to look back at a man that has been instrumental in one of the reasons why ESPN is still sitting here right now. Certainly very much responsible for why we have NFL football and shows like this and why we have Major League Baseball. Our president, Roger Warner, has resigned, is moving on to Prime Ventures. I speak for myself and everybody involved here at NFL and ESPN and anything involved with the network. You will be missed. He's a friend to all, and we know he'll do well out on the west coast of Prime Ventures. He loves those surfboards. All right, Roger, we'll see you. Now, the Vikings and the Chiefs. We move back to the football this afternoon, and this was a game that you TV fans might call a Perry Mason game, maybe even a Judd for the defense game. What am I talking about? Well, last year the Vikings had the best defense in all of football, and the Kansas City Chiefs had the second best defense. Nobody could defend the Heat, though, at Arrowhead, as it was hot on the field. There you see it off the scales over the Mendoza line. The Vikings come out cold. Wade Wilson, first series, Neil Smith, number 90, knocks the ball out of his hands, and the Chiefs recover the fair pass. Chiefs capitalize. Play action to Bird, to rookie Bill Jones out of Southwest Texas State. Say that 5 times fast. 7-0 Chiefs. Next Vikings possession, Herschel hit by Chris Martin at the fumble, and the Chiefs recover. Soon thereafter, to Bird, to Todd McNair in the flat. 22-yard touchdown, and the Chiefs lead at 14-0. The Vikings, though, come right back. Jerry Burns' squad knocking on the Kansas City door at the 6. Wilson to Walker. They atoned for their fumbles earlier. It's a touchdown. It's 14-7. Second quarter. Wilson to Steve Jordan from Brown University. Touchdown. 22 yards. We're tied at 14 all. The Chiefs lead at 17-14 at the half. Start of the second half. Look at Herschel. 19 yards to the right. Soon thereafter from the 8. Wilson to Walker. Second time they hook up for Pater, and the Vikings grab a 21-17 lead, and Wade Wilson is sight. That triggers the defense. You know they have one. Double teaming Keith Millard sometimes doesn't mean a thing. Knocks down the pass from DeBerg. And the offense goes to Herschel by Land. 19 yards and a first down. By air. Wilson to Walker again. Walker caught 5 today for 70 yards in the pair of TDs. Jerry Burns says, you know, this is why we got the guy last year. We know how to use him in our offense. What are you guys talking about? You might not like this. 4th and 1 in field goal range. They go for it. Jesse Clark carries the ball. Stopped cold. The chains are out. No. It's short. The gamble and a loss. So the Chiefs, down by 4 on the warpath. The Bird. He can look so good at times, Tommy, to Bill Jones in the flat. Spins for more yardage. Christian Okoye resting a little bit. He had 92 yards on the day, but he was sent in, and Jerry Burns says, wonder if he'll get the ball from 2 yards out. Yeah. Touchdown. 24-21 Chiefs. Okoye 28 carries, 92 yards. Just another day at the office for the Nigerian Nightmare. Kansas City's defense snuffs out the would-be flea flicker. Then the rookie inside linebacker, Percy Snow, doubles Wilson. 3rd and 25. Pearson breaks it up as he gives Ira Hillary a shot. The Vikings never did recover. And the Chiefs had what may be for them a very, very big win, beating a division winner from the other conference, the Vikings, by the count of 24-21. Guy who was looking for a win in his old haunts was Joe Bugle of now the Phoenix Cardinals. Bugle, one of the men that created the Hans, his offensive line coach over the years under Joe Gibbs for the Washington Redskins. So today, he went back to RFK. But the Redskins blew taps on Joe Bugle, as you will see. They blew it big time. RFK Stadium. Fans actually go out in public like this. Thanks in part to this guy, Joe Bugle, who made the Hogs' first game as a head coach. He starts Tim Rosenbaugh's second NFL start. From Washington State, Rosenbaugh, not experienced, passes deflected, picked off by Darrell Green. Another Washington State quarterback, Mark Rippon. First time 2 Cougar quarterbacks have started in the same game. Biggest day for Washington State football since they beat Brown in the second Rose Bowl. Here he hooks up with Ricky Sanders. 37-yard hook up at 7-0 Skin. Sanders needs the oxygen. He'd be back. Cards next possession. Rosenball rolling to his right. Nailed from his left. Hits a floater. Martin Mayhew picks it off. And Mark Rippon goes to work. Finds Ernest Biner. Now is this a touchdown? He makes a great play. Tommy, what do you think?
Well, you're not down until your knee is down and a defensive player makes contact. Biner's down. His knee is up by the time he's hit. Presence of mind to get into the end zone. Touchdown.
Touchdown, says Gene Bart. Third quarter. But we need to do is ask you, Tom. We didn't need Gene Bart. Mayhew with his second interception. Third suffered by Rosenball. Rippon goes right back to work. Goes deep. One of the posse members, Gary Clark, 47 yards, 21-0 Skins. Rippon threw for 3 touchdowns and 240 yards, no INTs. And then Phoenix had an identity crisis. Well, what you didn't hear there was the referee, Gene Bart, saying penalty or timeout St. Louis. But at any rate, by the time they get it together, 2 of their great special teams members, Sickahem and Wolfley, collide. Then on the blitz, bounces off Johnny Johnson into Alvin Wolf, and he could go all the way. 57-yard, a touchdown. 4 INTs, suffered by Tim Rosenball. Mama said there'd be days like this. Louis Sharp knows the Cards haven't won in there since '78. The Hogs and his old mentor, Joe Gibbs, saying, hang in there, Coach Bugle. It will get better. It's got to. The Redskins win it big time, 31-0. I don't know what it is about the side of the Cardinals jerseys, whether they're from St. Louis or whether they're from Phoenix, which is really in Mark Rippon's career where they've been from. Rip has ripped the Cardinals. His best days as a pro are against the Cards. We'll be back to show you more early and late, and a shocker from Packer Country. Legions of fans all over the country. We were even calling them, some of us were, America's team by the way they kept coming back and winning late. One game which they made a great comeback but didn't win was against the Rams. They trailed 31-7 at the half, rallied only to lose 41-38. But all that magic was with the magic man, Don Majkowski. He didn't start today because of his long holdout. It was Anthony Dilweg. But what we found out was there's more magic than Majkowski in the Packers' bag of tricks. Opening day at Lambeau Field. The Tundra wasn't frozen, and if they didn't sign Majkowski, that would have been Tom Bratz. Don Majkowski on the sideline. Tony Mandarich, the Michelin man in the lineup. Kurt Warner is a Ram. And Kurt, he can cut.
You know, no matter what uniform you put him in, he's always had the great vision and the great cutback ability. Here you see him plant, find the seam coming back toward the line of scrimmage, and then he has that skip that'll get him by 3 or 4 people into the end zone.
Touchdown Warner, 7-0 Rams. Packers make some good defensive plays.
Timmy Harris, outstanding all-pro. Here he occupies the blocking back, just kind of crushes the back to the ground.
2nd and 13. Here comes the blitz, and Harris sacks Jim Everett. Got the 6 guns going. Got the crowd going. Second quarter, the Pack punts on 4th down. Special teams, credit the punter. Look at Brackett, and then the nice, soft fairway of Lambeau Field lays it up nicely. There should be just a 10-foot birdie putt. 2nd and 9 from the 2. Everett looking for the end zone to Pat Carter. He is swarmed on by Harris and Jerry Holmes. So now it's 3rd and 8 from the 3. Everett's going to throw it. Pumps, throws left, picked off by Mark Murphy. He's down to the 4-yard line. The Packers in business, 1st and goal. Next play, the young man from Duke, Anthony Dilweg, getting the start. 2nd year, play action, half roll. Go west, young man. Go west to Ed West, the tight end. Touchdown. We're tied at 7. When the Packers leading 10-7 at the 2-minute warning, here come the fireworks. Everett looking deep. They call him Flipper. Flipper. It's 40 yards. Flipper Anderson, a touchdown. 14-10 the Rams. Does the Pack roll over? No way. There's Flipper's numbers. There's Everett's numbers. 340-yard day. but at times didn't look like the Jim Everett we've come to love the last couple years. Away from the shotgun to the mercurial Jeff Query. Touchdown. Pack comes back 17-14 Pack at the half. We talked about Tony Mandrich. Tommy, how'd he do?
We'll have to start talking about improvement of Tony Mandrich. His feet are better. You see him get his hands on people. And here, when it's run blocking, he's always been a great run blocker with his size and strength.
Yeah, and you know it says, thank you, Vince Workman, my way back to you, babe. On this big run, it's 31 yards. With a burning love inside. Look at him churn it up. With a score 20-17 Pack. Dillway. Workman with protection. He goes west again, young man. Ed West. Second touchdown, 7 yards. The Pack lead it 27-17. Turnovers killed the Rams on this afternoon. Everett to Henry Eller. Mark Lee strips him of the ball. Jerry Holmes, I think he's played in every league but the Whipple, makes the recovery. Everett to Eller again. It's a fumble. And again, it's that man, Jerry Holmes. Brings it all the way down to the 4-yard line. The Rams offense committed 5 turnovers. Not the type of offense John Robinson has devised. Late in the 4th, Everett completed 5 for 5 in this drive. The touchdown goes to Pete Holohan, but it's still a 33-24 Packer lead. And in case the Rams were thinking about coming back, no, sir. Dillway. On the keeper, Chris Jackie has a field goal. And the Packers beat the Los Angeles Rams. Thanks to that man, Anthony Dillway. Again, they're doing the Lindy Gatorade style in Green Bay. The Packers beat the Rams by the count of 36-24. An impressive win for the Green Bay Packers. And not an impressive effort by the Los Angeles Rams. But Green Bay, it's not just a Magic man.
Well, even without Magic, when you talk to Infante and maybe more importantly his players, they believe in the system and they believe it's better than any one player. On the other side of the ball, you know, for all the criticism that Eric Dickerson took over the years, I think they wish they had him on the field today. He would have fumbled and bobbled the ball less than the receiver.
Team that began going great guns last year, as they have in many other years of recent memory, the Chicago Bears. They went 4-0 in September. But then somebody put a period at the end of the sentence. They won only 2 of their last 12 and just tiptoed out to end the season. So now what happens? September rolls around again. They're at home hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The Bears like the month of September. Is it possible that the monsters of the Midway could become the sleuths of September? Let's take a look. And a lot of people wondering, did Chicago still have the defense? Well, the Fridge was there. But more importantly, Richard Dent was there. Mongo's back. Dan Hampton, after his 85th knee surgery, is back, along with second-year defensive end Trace Armstrong. How did the defense look? Yeah, ask David Craig. He learned about Richard Dent in a hurry. There's sack number 1. Same series, number 93, Trace Armstrong. Fights off a blocker, pulls Craig down for sack number 2. Then Danimal, Dan Hampton. Yeah, he could still play. Did anybody doubt it? Combining with Armstrong on sack 3. For David Craig, a long one. New DBs for the Bears. That was Sean Gale and the Mule Stinson, and some good D.
Well, what creates good defense is line pressure and then good ball awareness by your defensive back. And what Sean Gale did right there, you see Lemuel Stinson do here. He gets his head back so he can see the football. Then he has the good soft hands to pull it down. And I like to see defensive people run with the football after they get it. Run over those little offensive guys.
Good field position leads to a 3-0 Bears lead. Guy that the Seahawks hope will solidify their defense, big number 96, Cortez Kennedy. But Chicago's got a pretty good offensive line, and Mark Forts keeps him away from starter Jim Harbaugh. That leaves room for Neil Anderson to skirt 12 yards for a touchdown. The Bears lead at 10-0. Offensive line continue. There's Hilgenberg at center, one of the best in a long time at that position. And Harbaugh, 15 of 17 in the first half. He liked hooking up with Dennis Gentry. That was 19 yards. Then capping off a 96-yard march, Neil Anderson, second touchdown, 100-yard day for him. Harbaugh, boy, Ditka look like a genius, starting Harbaugh over Tomczak, 21 of 29. The Bears have won 7 in a row on opening day as they shut out the Seahawks 17-0. Seahawks end last year getting shut out after winning 3 in a row in December. They start this year getting shut out. A couple of teams that can play some defense, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, hooked it up today in Cleveland, and we welcome to our show. She plays some offense over here, Robin Roberts. What happened in that ball game?
Well, first of all,
welcome.
Thank you for letting me come out and play with you guys.
It's our pleasure.
Wasn't as bad as last year's season opener. The Steelers' offense, kind of sputtered in the preseason with Bubby and the boys adjusting to Joe Walton's new offense. We'll head to Cleveland, and Bud Carson looking for another opening day slashing of the Steelers. 51-0 was the score last year in the opener. Browns offense starts slow. Bernie Kosar, he's chased out of the pocket and brought down by A.J. Jenkins. Yeah, you remember this guy, Joe Walton, once the head man with the Jets, new offensive coordinator for Pittsburgh. His offense struggled early. Merrill Hodge wrapped up by Michael Dean Perry. Moved to the second quarter. It is a scoreless game. Browns deep in their own territory. Kosar hit by Hardy Nickerson. Aaron Jones recovers for the Steelers. First and goal, Steelers. Merrill Hodge, he can't get it up the middle. Next play, Warren Williams tries to go outside. He can't get it in. Third and goal, okay here. Brister, kind of questionable. A little terrible pass intended for Hodge. Great defensive stand for Cleveland. Steelers have to settle for a field goal. Scary moment here for all football fans. Thomas Everett gets kicked in the head by Kevin Mack. It is serious, a severe laceration and a concussion as they try and calm him down. Next play, bad news for Cleveland. Kevin Mack goes down. He breaks this play, but he breaks his ring finger on his left hand. Go to the third quarter. It's 3-0 Steelers until Merrill Hodge fumbles this one. Tony Blaylock picks it up, brings it in. It's 7-3 Browns. In the next series, Brister is back again, and his pass is picked off by Thane Gash, brings it deep into Steeler territory, sets up a Browns field goal, making it 10-3 Cleveland. Browns D took over, Brister back to pass. He had trouble all day, sacked by Michael Dean Perry. Tough day for Bubba, as his mom Frances looked on as we take a look at that final score. It is 13-3, the Browns with the victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Falcons trying to keep their perfect record intact under Jerry Glanville, opening at home against his former team, the run-and-shoot Oilers, and the Oilers trying to make a ball game out of this. Falcons were leading 37-7. At one point, it is now 37-27. A 3-yard pass by Warren Moon late. Time running out, about 3 minutes left to go in this ball game. So it looks like the Oilers are trying to get that run-and-shoot intact. The Oilers were really down, but they're coming back now. But I think Glanville's going to win his opener.
Well, Jerry taught him a little bit about character, and they're showing their old
Very
coach
much.
that they have some, because they look like they'd be run right out of Atlanta. And the Oilers hanging in there, although the Falcons still have a 10-point lead. We'll update you that and show you the highlights as soon as the game is over in Hotlanta. Best opening day. You combine the 80s and 1990. The Raiders 9-2 on opening day. We'll see them next as they go against the Broncos. Angeles Mausoleum, a place that's been very kind to new Raiders head coach Art Shell. 6-0 the Raiders were in the L.A. Coliseum last year under Shell, and only one team had a better opening day record than the Raiders since the AFC began, really. That's the Denver Broncos, and that's who came a-knocking today at the Coliseum. Broncos and the Raiders from Los Angeles, where, yeah, you could get a seat. Good to see Dan Reeves back on the sidelines, although with 100-degree heat, he wasn't necessarily feeling so comfortable. Elway looking to the end zone for Clarence K. Jerry Robinson breaks it up, saves the TD, set up for a Treadwell field goal, 3-0 Broncos. Tom Benson stops Bobby Humphrey dead on his tracks. Next play, Elway throws for Steve Sewell. Ricky Ellison, the former 49er, with the big stick. Raiders stop Denver and force another Treadway field goal. It's good from 44 yards out. 6-0 Broncos at the half. The Heat didn't stop the game. The Broncos defense trying to keep LA out of the end zone. Steve Atwater. How many times did we see this last year? The big hit on Mike Dial. It's incomplete. 4th and 2, Jay Schrader. Can't find Ethan Horton. Broncos hold him on down. Marcus Allen trying to fight the Heat. When the Broncos take over the ball. Elway to Jerry Robinson. Shades of, dare we say, is that what could employ Joe Theismann? Jets squaring. It's 7-6. Raiders. Dan Reeves can't believe it. What happened?
I think Elway just didn't see the defender. He saw Sewell. He couldn't see over him to see Robinson coming up on the play.
Well, it got worse for the Broncos. Elway to Vance Johnson. Boo-boo! Terry McDaniel scoops it up and let him go. The guys had the angles. They couldn't get him, though. 42-yard touchdown. 14-6. The Raiders bounce ahead. Fourth quarter. Broncos driving third and goal. Elway has the ball swatted loose by Howie Long. He also recovers it. Fourth Bronco turnover of the half. Get him some oxygen. Howie Long deserves it. Another man who needed oxygen. A man had a great preseason but struggled today. John Elway, 14 of 31, 2 INTs. Gary Kubiak came in to try and leave a last gasp drive. But Bill Pickel stops Humphrey. Turn up the fans. The fans in LA, that is, because it's the Raiders that defeat the defending AFC champion Denver Broncos. A tough defensive game by the count of 14-9. And so a big win for the Raiders. John Elway obviously stumbled today.
Well, he had his best preseason ever, threw for 70.8% completions. But what happened today? They wanted to shorten his drop up for the season, make it a 5-step drop instead of 7. Well, Howie Long almost personally destroyed that whole concept today. They kept pushing the pocket back in his face. He never could quite get his feet set to throw. Great defense by the Raiders, and I have no idea how they plan to keep Marcus Allen out of that lineup. I don't care who comes to that team.
Even Bo.
Even Bo.
Marcus looked good on a couple of
Yes,
runs,
he does.
though, and the Raiders have some speed all over, both on defense and also wide receivers. They're jumping for joy. They want to stay. At least Archell does in the Coliseum. We'll see if they go to Pago or wherever, but they're 1-0. We'll be back at NFL Primetime to take a look at what happened in the AFC East. And tonight on ESPN, it's baseball tonight. And as far as the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills were concerned, they got a late start all preseason. Neither team won a preseason game, but you had a feeling that sooner or later the Bills would at least show their colors, right?
Yeah, I saw Swami on Friday, how you said the preseason doesn't really matter unless you go 4-0 or 0-4, and the Bills and also the Colts. Someone was going to taste victory for the first time in 1990. Would it be the Bills? Would it be the Colts? Well, it was the long-awaited debut of the rookie quarterback for the Colts, Jeff George. But first, a look at the veteran, Jim Kelly. Last year was upset the Bills didn't throw enough, so this year gets a wide-open Andre Reed. Kelly 10 for his first 10. And Kelly hits James Lofton. Notice how much time Kelly has in the pocket, okay? Kelly again, tons of time, dumps off to Thurman Thomas. The short pass was working for the Bills, and Jim Kelly goes 14 for his first 14 this year. So how did the Bills score? You got it. Short pass. Kelly to Butch Roll. It's 10-3 Bills. And for Roll, his last 6 receptions have all been touchdown catches. So how was the rookie faring? Well, he didn't have Kelly's luxury of time. Bruce Smith will get to him, and Leon Seals recovers the fumble. George dropping back again, and he is sacked again. Jeff Wright this time, and yes, just a tad bit excited. And when he does get the pass off, Albert Bentley just lost among a sea of blue jerseys. The Bills are fired up for the season opener. And Jeff George not too happy about his first half of NFL football. Mom and Dad a little nervous. Second half, and it started to get better. George lost a great pass to the veteran Stanley Morgan, who grabs it, keeps his feet in. Colts pulls within 16-10. But then it all faded to black for the rookie. Yeah, Cornelius Bennett puts an incredible hit on George, and he is down in pain. And now Jeff's parents have good reason to be nervous. Take another look at this hit. Bennett gets a helmet on him, and his head hits the turf hard. That was it for George and for the Colts as they lose by a final of 26-10. But the rookie, not too bad. He was, not too bad in his passing. 13 for 24, 106 yards, and also a touchdown. Not too shabby.
He hung in there. He'll do just fine. The Colts fans shouldn't blame everything, their troubles on him. It's not his fault.
How would you like to have Bennett coming at you like that as a rookie?
See, they scout him during the preseason. He wore number 55. See, now he's number 97. They didn't know who he was. That was Radicic's old number, but they waived him last week. Aha, you can fool those films every now and then. Jeff George, compare him to some of the other top picks at quarterback. He wasn't the worst by far. John Elway had a concussion the first game he played. Reno wasn't bad, Axe. Vinny had some yards. Jeff George did okay. He hung in there, although he got the loss. Their old mates, Bruce Coslett, jazzed up the Jets' offense, took him into Riverfront against the Cincinnati Bengals, whose offense he did wonders for under head coach Sam Weish. There's Bruce in the colors of white and green of the Jets. Made the starting call, O'Brien over Eason. O'Brien struggled early, was only 3 of 9. On the 3rd and 8, though, hits a wide open Al Toon, and the Jets surprised with a 7-3 lead. Toon working against Louis Phillips.
Louis Phillips working man-to-man coverage here, gets his head turned back to the QB, loses sight of Toon. Bad thing to do when you're playing the Jets. Ends up in a touchdown. He could go all the way.
That was man-to-air coverage. Jets lead 7-3 at the half. After a 6 for 15 first half, Boomer comes alive. 3rd and goal, Esiason to Eddie Brown. We're tied at 10. But here come the Jets. 10th play of the march. O'Brien to Al Toon. He does this so well between two defenders, 17-10 Jets. After a Leahy field goal makes intercepts, he does it in both end zones, doesn't he? That's a nice scene there. Boomer Esiason saying to Bruce Coslett, who, hey, he almost pulled up a big upset today, but it was the Bengals over Coslett and the Jets, 25-20, and Boomer showing his appreciation for what Coslett has done for his career. Elsewhere in the AFC East, old combatants, the Patriots and the Dolphins in Foxborough, where the Dolphins don't usually fare well.
Aha, you're correct. I know how you guys love stats and figures. You live for this kind of stuff. Okay, well, I went a little digging. Dating back to 1960, the Patriots haven't lost a home opener since 1979, and since 1966, Don Shula, 0-3 against the Pats on opening day. Pats coach Rod Rust, a defensive specialist, getting plenty of big plays. Late first quarter, Dolphins up 3-0, driving for more. Dan Marino overshoots his receiver. Ronnie Lippett takes off, goes 73 yards down the line before stepping out of bounds. That sets up a 22-yard touchdown pass from Steve Grogan to Irving Fryer. Dolphins still moving the ball well. Sammy Smith busts up the middle, goes for big yardage, but he is stripped from behind by Maurice Hurst, and the fumble is recovered by who? Ronnie Lippett. And Shula just can't believe what's happening. Late second, Steve Grogan makes them pay under pressure. Grogan finds Irving Fryer, makes the leaping catch. Great cutback. He's tackled at the 1. That set up a John Stevens 1-yard run. Yeah, Grogan country. 21-13 Pats at the half. Early third quarter, Grogan hits Fryer over the middle. You really can't tell, but Fryer gets twisted up there. Yeah, he's in pain. Fryer was taken off on a stretcher, but he later returned to the bench. Meanwhile, the Dolphins come back behind Sammy Smith. A 33-yard run, 23 carries, 159 yards in a day and a touchdown, a career high for yards. Dolphins trail 21-20. Late in the fourth, Dolphins staring defeat straight in the face, down 24-20. First and goal, Pat 7. Marino scrambles, finds Tony Page. Yes, for the touchdown. Dolphins lead 27-24. Pats fight back. 4th and 10. Grogan finds the rookie, Greg McMurray, for the first down. On 3rd down, Grogan goes to Cedric Jones, but it's broken up by Tim McKyer. 4th down. What, you're going to try a 57-yard field goal attempt? Yeah, but as you might guess, it is just short. 27-24. Dolphins pick up the win. You're going on like this like you can't believe it.
No, Marino had time and a half to throw that ball, but the Pats, they need snow on the field to defeat the Dolphins. Welcome to the club. This is the way we work it here. Hey, it's a rough room. It was a rough room in Irving, Texas. Could it be for anybody other than the Cowboys? Yeah, it was for the San Diego Chargers. Let's see what happened. Chargers and the Cowboys. Plenty hot and Big D. Bring on the ice. This man wasn't icy. Troy Aikman was pretty hot. He looks for the former Bear, Dennis McKinnon. Nice pass, nice catch, 28 yards, 7-0 Cowboys. Billy Joe could not be a hero today because Dan Henning started to pick Mark Vlasic at quarterback. He finds Craig McEwen. Shakes loose from Robert Williams. Nice dive into the end zone, and we're tied at 7. Second quarter, Vlasic is going to go deep for his money man, Anthony Miller. But James Washington does a nice job of batting the ball away. Wait a minute. pass interference on the other man. Isaac Holt sets up a Marion Butts 1-yard run, 14-7 Chargers. 5 minutes ago, Chargers up 14-10. 4th and 5. It's a fake punt, but Billy Bates reads it. A big gamble backfires. So they try a 4th down and 2 at the Charger 45. Tommy Agee made some great catches in the 69 series. Makes a great run here. Under 2 minutes, 2nd and goal from the 1. Aikman keeps it for the touchdown. And can it be? The Cowboys have won a game not on ESPN. Well, at least in the Jimmy Johnson era, as the Cowboys upset the Chargers 17-14. Somebody said the Chargers were on their way this year. I don't know who that was. Anyway, let's go back to Robin Roberts and see how Jerry Glanville did in his deja vu attempt.
That's right. Yeah, back with the Falcons. Was an assistant coach for many years, but now he's back as the head man. The Falcons trying to keep their perfect record intact under Jerry Glanville, opening at home against his former team, the run-and-shoot Oilers. Houston Oilers head coach making his debut as well, Jack Pardee, but the dark man, Jerry Glanville, who's looking for the House of Pain and prime time. He finds the House of Pain. A big stick there. Al Smith with the opening day pop. Now on to the game plan. The Oilers run and shoot. Yeah, you got it. Warren Moon to Drew Hill. Perfect. 9 yards. Then Moon, the quick drop. Out of the backfield, Lorenzo White. Perfect. Well, not quite. He fumbles. Brian Jordan recovers. It's the Falcons' ball. Enter Chris Miller for the Falcons. Game plan to throw. Miller finds Floyd Dixon down to the 7-yard line. Then a couple plays later, the big running back, the rookie, Steve Broussard, off tackle. Good for 7 yards. Broussard's first NFL touchdown at 7-0 Falcons. All right, enter Andre Bruce, and I do mean enter Andre Bruce. He was in Moon's face all day. Bats down the pass, gives a little stick. Then Bruce, he was just simply untouched, just pinning his ears back and going. Don't try and tell him anything, just let him loose. He gets to Moon again. And that wasn't all. Again. Back to pass. Bruce from the outside, fumble or what? Everybody's kind of standing around, but get it in the end zone, then you talk about it, Bobby. Bobby Butler says, bring it in, okay. It's in the end zone. Okay, it's a touchdown. It's a what is it? Yeah, touchdown for the Falcons. What happened, TJ?
You saw Bruce come in from the side, and that's where he spent most of the day pinning Warren Moon to the turf. The ball is down. It wasn't touched. Ends up being a touchdown.
Now, a play like that only happens once, right? Well, I'm not too sure.
You certainly don't want to see Warren Moon running the option. This is he could go all the way delayed. And Tuggle finally figures out the way to the end zone.
That's right. Tuggle said, look, Bobby did it, so I better take it on in. Moon right down the line. And Tuggle simply takes the ball. Says, just give it here. Give it here, Warren. You don't want it, give it here. And takes it in for the score. Some work on that play, but after further review, it's a touchdown. Falcons led 21-0. Oilers, they kind of fight. And here we go. Is it good? Prime time. Prime time. Prime time. Yeah. He ends the game. High stepping it. 47-27. The Falcons with the flag. Like having fun. Andre Rison got a flag too for doing a little move after his touchdown. Hey.
No one's flagged us yet for having fun on this show, have they?
It could happen.
Yeah, we do have a few minutes to go. So the Falcons win it big, 47-27. Thanks, Robin. We'll be back on NFL Primetime after we check our 100-yard rushers, 300-yard passers for the day. Stay with us.